when you get a new client, I'm just going to make some suggestions. Don't quote over the phone. Okay? Why? Because inevitably the client is going to say, well, you told me $1,000. Well, he didn't tell you all the problems that he's having. Don't quote over the phone. Make sure you have a whole idea of what the case is all about before you quote him any price, because you're going to be stuck with it and you don't want to be. The other suggestion is don't give legal advice over the phone. Why? Because somewhere down the line your name is going to come up and he's going to say, hey, he told me to do this, or he gave me legal advice. And your insurance company, your malpractice insurance company, isn't going to be happy when he sues you. So please do not do that. I've already told you, money up front if you can. Oh, I love this. Client comes to me and says, actually, the client that I was talking about before, who didn't pay me for 6 or 7 weeks, comes and says, don't you trust me? Don't you love when that happens, Cliff? Don't you trust me? And what do you respond?
Depending on who it is.
If it's a new client, if it's a new client.
No. If it's a new client? No. I don't do business on that basis.
Well, you're not going to say no. You're going to say no? Okay, good. I have a different suggestion, okay? I'll just come up. I'll say, why should I? If I can't protect your interests, if I can't protect my own interests, why would you want to hire me to protect your interests, you know? And play it out that way. But you want to be careful on that stuff, because they'll do it to you. And I got to tell you, over the 38 years, had all sorts of things happen. If you get paid, if any of you get paid over $10,000 in cash, be careful, okay? Please. I don't want anybody coming to me for an IRS problem or even worse, U.S. District Attorney coming to you. And I would tell you also to be careful with financing cases. Unless it's a case like I talked about where somebody broke their neck or really hurt themselves, be careful about spending all the money for expert witnesses, because expert witnesses are extremely expensive. Anybody knows how much a doctor usually charges to come in and testify? 10 grand, 10, 15 grand. Usually it's 10 grand for a half a day, right? And he comes in, does his thing, and he's out of there. And if you lose, what happens? Your client going to pay you? No way. Now, if you're working for the insurance company, it's okay, you know. I had Allstate once. Do you work for Allstate?
Self-insured.
Oh, okay. I had Allstate once, and they brought in, on a soft tissue injury case, they brought in 5 experts. They paid, I estimated they paid about $25,000 on a soft tissue injury case. And we would have taken probably a whole lot less, because I had some real questions about the case. They actually brought in an accident reconstructionist that the only thing he saw was a Xerox picture of the accident report. And that, you got to support something with something. The judge allowed him to testify, and then I was able to cross-examine him. And it was an interesting cross-examination. There is one thing I'd like to talk about too. With credit cards, I would suggest that you don't use debit cards. Anybody realize why? In business, you don't use debit cards? There's limits on liability with credit cards, right? Yes? No? Maybe? You guys know about that? Okay. There is no limit on debit cards. If you take a look at the contracts, be careful with that, because they may, you call up to the credit card company and you say, hey, my credit card's been stolen, or somebody took my credit card, and you're responsible only probably up to $50. With a debit card, there's no limitation. So be careful using debit cards. Real careful, okay? Understand basically the interest rates if you have to, okay? Because the interest rates are really, if you don't pay a certain time, they go up and they go up and they go up. And don't default, or else they go up and up and up. And you want to avoid that. Who does billing here? Anybody do any billing? What do you do? How often do you bill? Every day. Okay. I'm going to suggest if you have a private practice, bill on a monthly basis. Okay? Because if you bill on a monthly basis, you have expenses on a monthly basis. You want to bill on a monthly basis so you can pay it. Or that cash flow. Somebody said something about cash. I think you said something about cash flow, right? Somebody said so? Yeah. The cash flow will kill you. And you want to bill on a monthly basis if you can. And I like forwarding cases. There's certain cases, once again, I won't take. But you have an immigration case. The last thing I want to do is take an immigration case. I really don't. I don't even know which court I go to. No, I know 26 Federal Plaza, but you know, it's completely different. You don't want to get lost there. I was thinking about it. Bankruptcy cases I don't take, although I did have one bankruptcy case. Once again, I made a mistake, but I was doing it. An attorney got himself in. If I can help out a fellow attorney, I try to help out. And he had a problem, and I ended up getting involved in that case just to help him out. And you don't want to get involved in that. If you don't know the area, get rid of it. Get rid of the case. And if you're friends with someone, it's always a good idea if you're referring back and forth, as long as it's an ethical issue, do it. You're entitled to a legal fee if there's a referral. Any personal injury, anybody refer cases on personal injury cases? Because if you refer a case, you may be entitled to a legal fee. And some of the cases that we have are significant, right? You've seen cases well over 6 figures, sometimes 7 figures. Rockland County, we don't have that many 7-figure, but we do okay, you know. I've been able to eke out a pretty good living. The other thing in reference to fees, I like the idea, and I should do it more often myself, that fees should be firm and standard. So I have a fee basically for DWI cases, $3,900, that's it. And I do a little bit of a twist too. If they pay me up front, so I don't have to play around with billing and everything, because I hate billing. And I got to tell you, I hate billing, but my secretary and my paralegal even hate it more, because I throw it on them. So what I end up doing is I say, hey, if in fact you end up paying $3,600 at that time, today, it's $3,600. If not, $3,900, that's it. And we also have a thing where if in fact there are hearings or something else, that we get paid in addition to that. So I throw that out. And if you have to get rid of a client, please get rid of the client as quickly as you can. How you doing? Do I have to read something? Okay.
10 more minutes.
10 more minutes? And that's it? That's all? I haven't gotten to... Oh, okay, and the winner is... I like that. I never win anything, you know? DEV 968. That's DEV 968. We're finished 10 minutes? See, I told you I wasn't going to get to everything anyhow. In reference to productivity, if you notice, I talked about systems. We have systems for all sorts of cases. On my cell phone is so great. Anybody use the cell phone? It's like the best thing. And remember, I'm going all the way back. We didn't have cell phones when I was a kid. I even get my sister saying, "Hope your presentation went well today." My sister's an English teacher. I used to be an English teacher way back when. But the cell phone is really good. They have this neat little thing known as notes. Okay? And I actually put in notes, so I have a thing in reference to all questions concerning personal injury car accidents. And I have all the questions I want on the cell phone. So if I forget any questions, well, I usually don't. I've been doing it so long. But if I forget it, I have it. If I have to give it to my paralegal to prep my clients, they have it. And they know all the questions that could be answered or asked by the insurance man, Tim, right? Huh? No, it's okay. No big deal. Okay, so systems are really important. If you take a look at, let's see. Didn't I have it? Well, I gave you a thing concerning legal business deductions on saving taxes. The experience transformer, I kind of went over the stuff that I would do. What's good, what's not good on billing, okay? So you can, if you take a look, this is the issue. This would be what works, what doesn't work, how you can make the things that aren't working work better. And then you use a strategy to deal with it. Now you can take that with any problem that you have. And if you use the equation E plus R equals O, it's a wonderful equation. I love it. I think it's great. In reference to hiring, does anybody hire anybody? When you do hire some people, what kind of situations do you want with hiring people? What would you want if you're going to hire someone?
Somebody who is
Time efficient, okay. And you?
competent in the area I'm looking to hire.
Huh?
Competent in the area I'm looking to hire.
Okay. Responsible. Yeah, I like that one.
Willing to agree on a salary.
Okay, a salary. I'll tell you kind of what I'm looking to, okay? I want to know whether that person's going to work with me and that person's willing to learn, okay? If the person's coming out of school, those are the two factors, and I want the person to be responsible and trustworthy. Okay, those are the major issues I'm looking to. So if somebody's willing to learn and learn quickly, that's the key, okay? And you want to be able to work with someone. There are three